Prior pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so in the following manner. Go to the town website and download the agenda and click on the Zoom link in the agenda. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. Okay. First order of business will be to, as I recall, oh, now what did I do with the agenda? Did you hate that? I hate it. Okay, got it here. First order of the business is to review and accept the minutes of April 30th, 2024 meeting. I did distribute them earlier today. Sorry for the late distribution, but I got them out and around. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Thank you,
I
Jason.
didn't have a chance to read them yet.
Okay, you want to defer them, or you want to?
If everyone else reviewed, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. All right. Greg, are you all right with it? I mean, Mary?
I'm all right.
I just want to. So we have do we have can we get a second or?
Second.
Okay, Mary, thanks. Mary. All right. Any further discussion? They're not really detailed, Cleena. So if you have anything, you can let me know. We can always revisit, but I think they're pretty good. So all in favor, Greg Zakarian.
Aye.
Jason Brockway.
Aye.
Ray Foley.
Aye.
Cleena Archibald.
Aye.
All right. And Chris Berglund. Aye. Okay, thank you. So at the last meeting, just to kind of clean up business a little bit, at the last meeting, and it was actually in the minutes as well, that we voted to amend, the endorsement, because Pete's minutes had a round number. I think we had to add $750 to those, to the amount. So not being sure after attending the meeting of open meeting law stuff, I wasn't sure that was adequate. So I added it to this agenda as well. I apologize for the redundancy, but I figure just in case there's any issue, we should be okay. And let me just see what the minutes 30 minutes. So the vote that we took last week was oh boy, 50,000. Oh, I don't know if I even included it. Maybe I didn't include that. Well, that's because Cleena didn't review the minutes. So I'll go back and oh, when did we do that? We did that at the May 1st meeting though, right?
Yeah, that was the joint meeting.
Yeah, that was a joint meeting. Thank you. So that's why they wouldn't be on those minutes. But at the May 1st meeting, it was Cleena made the motion, Greg seconded, and everybody was unanimous in increasing that amount from 539,000 to 539,750. So just to clean up business, can we have a motion to ratify that vote, to clarify the inside debt borrowing of $539,750? Who's that? Greg?
Yep.
And that's for both CIB and,
Yeah, I'm official now.
yeah, okay.
So what,
So-
what ratifying?
So last, at the meeting, May 1st,
Right,
the Pete's minutes from when we had done all the capital items,
yes,
we had read and accepted Pete's minutes, which said that we were approving a $539,000 inside debt borrowing for the 2 trucks for the DPW.
Okay.
In actuality, the amount was $539,750, which is what we had on our schedules and everything. Pete just had it at 539. We voted it last on May 1, but it wasn't on the agenda to
gotcha.
bring it to 539, 750. Again, it was moved by Kalina, Greg seconded. That'll show up in the May 1 minutes. But for this, I just want to ratify it. This way it was on the agenda, the posted agenda. So if we get a second, that would help. A second. Okay, thanks, Mary. That's good. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kalina Archibald.
Aye.
Okay, Jason
Aye.
Brockway. All right, great. Greg Zakarian.
Aye.
Right, and Chris Berglund, aye, and Mary Foley.
Aye.
Great, thanks. All right, so that's cleaned up. All right, let's go to the I think okay. Item 3 was requested by Ray, and it was actually on the last the April 30 agenda. We went right by it. Ray's not here because I'm not really sure what detail he wants to go. Is anybody of the understand? I know we had a fairly long discussion about this. This pertains to vote to request that the DPW look into the cost and logistics of a cleaning program for DPW vehicles impacted by road salt and other corrosive elements.
I don't know if that falls under our,
Yeah, that was my question as well. Do we have authority to make that request to the DPW?
Right. Well, we would not be making it to the DP, and frankly, let's get Ray into it because I don't disagree. I think we can, and I'm not even sure that a special vote would do anything. I think what we can do is we can possibly pass up a request to the town administrator and say, is this something that your DPW director has time to do because we think it's important, and maybe let's table this if that's okay.
okay.
Good.
Because I think he's well aware of that.
Yeah. I think he is as well, but we'll push that out. I'm just going to pass over item 3.
Yeah, while I'm very in favor of a cleaning program, I'm not sure. It's the place for the FinCom to ask for various members of town to look into that.
Okay, so Jason, I'm going to take that as a motion to pass over
Yes, sir.
this item at this point. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Greg, second. Kalina, how do you vote? Okay.
Aye to pass over.
Okay, yes, great. Jason?
Aye.
Aye, good. Greg?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And Chris Berglund, aye. Okay, thanks. Town meeting warrant and consider committee open. Okay, so what we normally do before each town meeting is we go over the entire warrant and opine on those that are financially oriented or have a financial impact on the town. I don't have a copy of the final town warrant yet. And I think Jennifer just got back into town today, and I think she was planning to hang it out there. So I'm not sure that we want to do this at our educational session. The only other time we could do it would be the meeting later next week or the one before town meeting, go through each and every one. I guess I would caution against waiting until the night of town meeting, because if we want additional information on any of these articles, it's probably a little late to get that. So would the group be open to another meeting next week after our educational session? Hate to cram it in, but then I promise after town meeting. And Mary, you're going away for town meeting, right?
No, I'll be back.
Oh, you will? Oh, okay.
No, I'll be back for town meeting. I'll
Okay,
be back
good.
info night.
You'll be back what?
I'll be back for the info night.
Oh, you will? Okay, good. Oh, that's good. All right.
You know,
So, all right, good. I mean, would a week from today be all right with it tonight for everybody? We'll just go through. That's the only thing I'll put on the agenda, I promise. And just blitz through and figure out what we want more information on, and we can, whatever we need more information on, we'll just get it before town meeting. You know, I'll reach out and try to get it before town meeting, and then we'll finalize everything that night. So that would mean like meeting before town meeting, which is we usually do anyways at like 6:15. Are you guys all right with next Tuesday?
okay.
Yep.
Is it next Tuesday, Chris, or next Monday?
Next Tuesday. Monday we're meeting anyways. Monday's the educational session.
Okay.
That's the one at Senior Center. So I've got Jason good, Mary good,
What
Kalina,
time?
maybe like 6 o'clock. Is that good? 6:30? I don't know. We usually do 6, so.
I can make it, but I'm gonna be late. The middle school spring concert, is scheduled for the 14th.
All right. What time does that start?
6 o'clock.
Oh, geez. All right.
It should only last about an hour, so I can scoot right. I'll probably have Delilah with me, but that's okay.
Yeah, we can do Zoom if that's easier.
6 of one, half of the other. I'm gonna be out anyway, so
All right. All right.
whatever the group decides, I'm not.
All right. I'll just I'll post a meeting just to get that discussion going and just find out what other information we need. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I mean, I think the articles are pretty straightforward. We've gone through most of them. And we'll just, I think we can, as soon as I get the warrant, I'll ship it around to everybody too. All right. Now we'll go back up to,
Do you need a motion to pass that over, Chris, or are we good without that?
yeah, that would be great if you would do that.
All right, I'll make a motion to pass over for till next week.
Okay, discussion of warrant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Great. Kalina?
Aye.
Great. Jason?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Great. And Chris Berglund, aye. Thank you. Working group product. All right. So, Kalina, thank you for your efforts getting in and updating this good stuff. I went in also and added just one slide, but we can look at, I'm going to open Kalina's and share that and just kind of go through what we think. I can figure out, I got too many things open. Oh, man. All right. Share screen. All right. So, great. And so here we go. Thanks. This is a great one. Just kind of give us a little history, give everybody a little history about the Finance Committee.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys would think this would be helpful. I almost wonder if we should put our pictures up. Just as if we're
no.
not all there. Like,
No, don't
I
put
don't
our
know.
pictures up. I don't want my picture. No. I'm not sure that we're, maybe we're, assembling a list of all town capital assets. I don't know that because we currently don't really maintain it. I mean, That's been part of our challenge, as you know, is trying to
Yeah.
continue to get it. So I'm gonna maybe just highlight that a little bit and just let's oof.
For sure. I wasn't sure how many years of experience the group has, but I figured it was at least that much.
I
But we
think Ray and I have close to 50 years, so that's,
just between the two of you, yeah. So we could increase that.
so that's fine, Mary. I don't know, but Pete's been on a long time too, so and Mary's been a long time, but let me just figure out how I can. I'm not real good with all this. I'm just going to italicize it and underline it. We can come back to it. Next few years may be very different than the last from a budget perspective for sure. I love that. All right, now topics. So is this just an informational slide, or are we going to talk to each of these points? Were you thinking?
It's like the agenda slide.
Okay, all right.
And
So
the
this is-
little icons will be on the pages.
Oh, that's
They
what those
can kind of
icons
follow
were.
on.
Oh, wow. I like that. Boy, definitely the PowerPoint. Oh boy, I'll tell you, you get an Academy Award for this. You can tell your skill levels are much better than mine. Oh man, this is great. That's good. Okay, good. So we'll let you explain to that. That's good.
This meeting is being recorded.
Was that me?
No, it's me. I'm trying to join on the computer.
Oh, okay. All right. We didn't have anybody else join in, did we? I don't think so. No. All right. The next one down. Topics. Resident tax rates based, and this is great. West Boylston average single family tax bills lower than most.
Yeah, can you take out the first word rate there? It should be resident tax, not rate. Is based on the tax rate and value. Realize.
So resident property taxes, should we put that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Good job. No, I like that. Questions? No? Good. Okay. Prop 2.5 illustration. Levy ceiling 2.5% of total property value. Year 1. So we're at the limit. Year 2 tax levy is 2.5 plus new growth plus any override. Yeah, I don't know. We might want to yellow that or something just to differentiate, because that takes an additional plus override if approved by town or something. If approved by voters. Oops. Now we can clean this up a little bit. I did have a chat with the school today, and they gave me some more information which I uploaded to the but I'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna highlight it so I know to reformat or italicize it. And
What I'm
underline.
trying to show with the ceiling too is that the levy limit can't go above the ceiling.
Right. And that we tax to the levy limit every year. I mean, that's the other thing, which I think is important, because not every town does that. Okay. So our tax levy each year is calculated based on the levy limit in the town operating. Moved by town residents. Yep, that's good. Do we want to add anything about it too? I'm not gonna get into 2.5 override at this point. Because we get into that at the end, right?
Yeah, I think this, what
think
I was
I-
thinking is this is more like foundation
Right,
definitions.
yeah, no, that's good. And that's why, because if we get into the 2.5 stuff, we're gonna be scary. It could derail us quickly. Like this. Excellent. Other income reserves. Local receipts, state aid, minus charges. Yeah,
This is right from Jen's.
yeah, that's good. And this is basically what our sources for 2025 are, which is great. Kind of
Yeah.
showed everybody.
I don't know if the numbers changed slightly from what Jen presented and what I think Ray had originally put in here. I didn't go through that level of detail, but I did notice there was some minor adjustments on the expenses side.
All right. So I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna make a note to. It's not what I want to do. See how good I am at this. Oh, God. Because I'm gonna run this by Jen and just make sure she's obviously on board. Yeah, I know she probably would have joined us tonight, but she just got back from. She was in a wedding over the weekend down in, I don't know, Tennessee or something. I'm sure she's probably shot. Okay. This is a great one. So this one we can spend a little time on, just showing that the growth has been, obviously the tax levy grows at 2.5%. The 2.5 is 2.5%. That's the same. New growth has actually gone down. Chapter 70 funding has increased 10%, which I think is kind of generous. School choice. Yeah, that it maybe has gone down, but it's been volatile. So that's one of the slides that the school gave me, or one of the analysis the school gave me, and I'll throw that up in a little bit. Free cash is free cash. Ambulance receipts, that's a good one. It's not material, but it's good. Just showing that we're relying more and more on that. General government, big number, but big percentage, but not a big number. And local receipts, not a whole lot for a 10-year look back. And this just shows that we're keeping pace with inflation, but in the latter years, not so much. And this is right off Jen's too, or this is one that we had done.
This is right off of Jen's.
Right off of Jen's, okay, good. And then,
These were, yeah, this was Ray's. I made the colors match Jen's a little bit, so it'd be a little bit more
yeah, it's good.
to follow along.
Yeah,
And the total pie grew, so I made one of the pies smaller.
right, that's good. No, that makes sense. And I think that's good.
To call out the edge, with the fonts and stuff, but it's not great. I don't know.
It's a very busy slide, but I think what we can do is just point to, I mean, this is where I'm looking at, this is up 5% in 10 years. I mean, and do the math on 5% of $30 million. It's real money. So that's an important, I think that's something, and those are just things we can't control. This one's,
So
Is
one
this
thing
the-
on, slide 14, I pulled the ones with actual numbers because Jen's one with percentages was slightly different than what Ray had on 15. So I
Oh,
just made
really?
it like not match so that it wasn't obvious. But but Jen's like, so ours is in percents and hers is in numbers, so you can't immediately make that comparison.
That's fine.
Um,
It'll be close enough.
But she had education as 47%, and she also had debt included in the employee benefits and risk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
Which-
whereas it's a separate pie piece on these two.
Okay.
And if you add them together, we have 28%, the 25 plus 3. But I think she has 25 or 26 for the two of them combined.
It's really, it's 25, and I don't think debt service is it 3? I guess it is 3%, isn't it? Yeah. That would be right. Yeah.
And it was 6. So it doesn't look like it grew as much on,
No, debt service has actually
not
gone
sure.
down.
yeah.
It went up. No, it didn't go down. It hasn't grown much. Let's leave it at that. Because if you do 3% of 30 million, it's gone up a little bit because we put a couple of buildings in, but we've tried to be mindful of doing it as other debt comes off. All right, no, that's good. And this just basically shows the explosion of employee benefits, risk management, and ESCO.
Yeah, it shows the same thing as the prior pie chart.
Yeah, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay, 10-year growth rate. So let me, while we're here, let me just go to, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, if that's okay, because I want to open up another. Well, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll open it from here. Today is May 7th. So I asked Christy to send me over Excel files. She had sent over a bunch of other stuff that the school had, but I really wanted the Excel files for, can you guys see this Excel?
Mhm.
So this is basically meaning that they didn't spend all of the funds that the town allocated for them in 2021 or 22. One of the things that they're talking about is the average town allocation has increased 2.86% since fiscal year 20. They're not going back as far as we did. Whereas the expenses have gone up 4.59%. So there's a gap there just in that period. So I'm not sure how we want to show that. One of the ways that one of the ways I was thinking is this is this is kind of an interesting chart, and Roger said, Rich said that we could share this information. He wasn't, and this is the one slide that I put in, and I highlighted the fact that special ed has gone from 30% of the budget in fiscal year 20 to 39% in 2025. So I think the increased needs of the schools in that regard, demonstrate that's $2.4 million increase, which is a good portion of the increase in the budget. When you look at the budget, went up not even $3 million. So 2.4 of the 2.9 million was special ed driven. The other piece of this I think is interesting is the town appropriation went from 91% back in fiscal year 20 to 85%, relying heavily on, and again, this is what we look at, when you look at school choice funds have been, bouncing around, 500,000, 400,000, and then it goes to 800,000, million, 800. And then circuit breaker, and it was the big one this year with $1 million up to $1.2 million. The others, these revolving funds and grants are not really that material, but the grant thing, we talked a little bit about that, and you just said that it's getting much more competitive for those. But so I'm not sure if this is something that we want to include. So what I'll do quickly is I'm going to dump the share real quick and go to the version. I'll just show you the slide that I put in and just let me know if you guys think that it's worth putting out or including. And that was really the only I'm sorry to jump around, but you guys.
It's good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is so I think this slide, which I think is important, and I think this is great that you incorporated this, because one of the things that Rich talked about was the fact that they've had really no increase or decrease really in students. It's kind of been steady, had a couple of dips, but it's back up to in the 9s or whatever. And the other one is this one showing the positions. Basically, teachers, paraprofessionals have been steady over the period for the most part. A little bit of a dip, but back up. But it's not like anybody's bulking up on staff, and I think that's kind of the message that we can safely say. So it's
They have added paraprofessionals.
what's that?
They did add paras.
They did add paras, but I think
not
that was
huge numbers, but
no, but I think that was in the special ed
yeah.
piece. And I think that was, and again, I think that's where we can kind of, and this is why, and I want to get into the way we present this too a little bit, because I'm not going to get up there, and I'm not expecting any of you to get up and just lecture. I think we just have to kind of do it as a panel discussion. And I think as we hit on things, say what you think, say what your observations are. That's all. And I think just like that, Clean, I mean, that's exactly what we have to do. And, they did add paraprofessionals. And Rich will be there, and he says he's willing to talk to this stuff too. So I think we can't be afraid to, just put out, here's what we, observe, period. And I'm sure there will be questions that we can't answer. That will come, and that's fine, and we'll do our best to address them. But understanding, we're going to start this whole thing out by saying, hey, look, gang, we have 50 plus years experience, but we're also getting paid Zippo for this. We're all volunteers, and while we enjoy giving back to our community, it also has caused great sacrifice for family lives and personal lives and so on and so forth, professional lives. And I think that they have to know that. We don't regret any of that, but that's I think an important thing. And unless anybody doesn't want that message out there, I can certainly back off, but that's what I would think of. Jason, you have something?
No, I think that we should probably lead with that message. I have a feeling that townspeople are going to come in and be upset about a 2.5 override based on what I've seen in social media. And my worry is that people are going to come into this meeting not open-minded and looking for education, but looking for a place to yell and frankly get their positions out. And I think coming in right up front and saying, while there is a long tenure on the finance committee, like we are volunteering our time, most of us away from our family, and just try and keep that front of mind of publics, like
Yep.
of the public, so that this doesn't turn into 30 people at the senior center yelling at 7 of us. It's just, I don't really want to go down that route if we can avoid it.
Nor do I. And I think that's again, and what we'll expect, decorum. I mean, it's not like this is it's an educational session. It's not an open meeting, quote unquote. I mean, the way the way it's been presented. I did post a meeting in case we do decide to take up some business, but I don't think that that's going to be that's not my intention here.
Well, the other thing,
yep,
you, Chris, you don't mind me jumping in for a second, is
not at all.
we don't control any of these budgets directly.
Right.
We get handed to us.
Yep.
So this needs to be, and I have to agree with Jason on this one, this has to be a don't shoot the messenger kind of thing.
Right.
And our job is to be the residents, watchdogs, watching this every day. This is our jam, if you will. So
Yep.
yeah, so this is us bringing it to them. And
Yep.
if they have any concerns, they can bring it up at town meeting.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not too long a coming, but yeah. But you're right.
At the town meeting, you don't have to shout it across, at the select board and what have you.
Right. Right. So this was the slide I put in. All I basically did was I took Christie's data, and I don't know if we want to demonstrate this on I mean, what I did was just highlight the funds uses and sources and how they've dramatically changed. If I go back to the what is that, Excel? Oh, that's not it. It was, I believe she had shown here. These are just basically percentages of the education. And I mean, that's not it. No, that's not it. Maybe it was back here. This was the different revolving funds, and the one that's real, this is where showing that they're eclipsing. I mean, what they've done over the years is they usually try to not empty these funds out at year end and then look to get them boosted in fiscal year 20. What's that?
What is circuit breaker?
Circuit breaker is a lot of the special ed financing, as well as out of district funding. Now, it's a very complex formula for how they get it. I mean, you can, for instance, I think we have 2 or 3 students going out of district, and it's costing a couple $100,000 to do that. And out of district, also you have to provide transportation and so on and so forth. And most of it, I think like 80% of it is reimbursable. The challenge is there's a cap that you have to hit, or a minimum that you have to absorb yourself, and then it caps out after that, and if it gets too high. So it's like a very complicated thing to explain, and that's why I'm not even going to try.
So it's like a deductible. It's like health insurance. Like if you have a deductible, and then you also have a lifetime limit or something.
And it's payable the following year. So you're incurring those costs this year, but you won't get reimbursed for them until next year. So going in and guessing at what you're going to get this year, and a lot of the funding formulas are, set by the State House, and they sometimes bounce around with you know, it's not unlike the Chapter 70 where they look at, you know, wealth of the town and so on and so forth. I don't think that's exactly the same with circuit breaker. I think circuit breaker is a more defined formula and translates across the board, but it's specifically for those, I guess, special circumstances. I mean, I think the other side of it is, you know, out of district. I mean, so you've got, I guess if you have a homeless family that moves to Worcester, I mean, moves to West Boylston and starts in the school this year, they are, and then they move to another town, they have the opportunity to stay in the Worcester school system at our cost. And we have to provide transportation for them from the town that they've moved to. It's like, and I can understand that from a stability and you want, you know, students to be, but it's just who burdens the cost of this stuff. Just, it's crazy.
So
But
in my mind, the simple way to sort of show this would just be to show the expenses going up and then the town appropriation as a percent is going down. And just sort of leave it there. I think if I'm understanding the spreadsheet that you have up now, it looks like these are funds and the ending balance is going down. So it looks like we're getting in a riskier and riskier situation in terms of
Yep.
like if these are like our capital investment fund, right? Like we're spending through it and
Yep,
there's
exactly.
nothing left for the following years. But I think it might be pretty complex to try to get through in the education session. So I don't know what others think. The general knowledge about this is, I think this is going to be a little involved.
So if we go back to where was did I have? So I'm thinking this showing that the town appropriation at 91% in 2020 down to 85% in FY 2025, and that school choice and sped circuit breaker special ed, so it's mostly special ed, cleaner to clarify, is now 12% of the budget.
Yeah, I think
Whereas,
the issue with highlighting the school choice and circuit breaker is you could think like, so what? So that's great. We've got more money from school choice and circuit breaker, so you don't need the town appropriation.
yeah, see that's why this other one is valuable, just because, and I'm just trying to think of a way to show it, because this shows that year over year we've been outspending what we've been getting back. I mean, even though it may not look like it, like 24, but it maybe doesn't look like it because we got 960,000, which really should be the amount that should be spent in 2025. But it's not, because we spent it down. We actually spent 200,000 more than we should have in FY24, because it's basically a year over year. I mean, you're kind of accruing next year's funds should go towards, I mean, the funds you get reimbursed for this year's expenses should be going towards next year's expenses, if that makes sense. It's almost like an accrual basis, so you're almost like a year ahead. From
I'm gonna have to leave because I actually have to go to this meeting. Chris, I just sent you what I took for minutes, okay?
Thank
to this
you.
point.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay, I'll see you Monday.
Monday night, you know it. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So I don't know if that made sense. I mean, from the standpoint of, again, spending out what more than you should year over year. You can see like in 23, they kind of hit it the way they were supposed to, because in 23 they got in 714,763 in revenue, and they spent 714,763. That's the way it's supposed to line up. Overspent in 23. But the 336 and the 107 with the extra relief. So it's kind of complex. I guess we probably don't want to get into it too deeply. We just want to kind of say, I think you're probably right, Glenn, just they're relying heavily on funds that they don't have and that they won't see until next year, if at all, because we don't know what formulas may change. I mean, that was part of their budget this year, if you'll recall. They changed the transportation, one of the was it school choice? I'm trying to think of school choice at one point included transportation, and then they removed it from the formula. So it's not the end of the world, but you just have to reapportion your revenues with your programs. So you have to do it with program funding. All right, that was a lot. Sorry. Let me get out of here and go back to our presentation here.
Can you go back to that slide for 1 second, Chris? I just want to write down some of these numbers and get a percentage.
Yeah. This one, or do you want the other one?
No, this one's fine.
And I did save this up into the drive as well.
Okay.
It just got my initials next to it. This is the only different slide, and the only slide I made differently.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I think just quickly looking at the numbers, it's like the school budget is growing faster than the town appropriation. And I think, Clena, that's what you were saying a few minutes ago. Like, instead of showing this, because I think people are going to look at this and be like, it's too much info. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yeah.
Trying to find some sort of a visual to show the difference.
I thought she had sent me something. This isn't it.
I mean, we could probably do a simple line graph of
So
the
this is,
application and
yeah,
the expenses.
yeah. I mean, that might be the whole thing. Maybe just do the town appropriation versus the total budget. Well, I might even be able to do that. Town appropriation, total budget.
Yeah, I'd just be graphing 43 and 51. And what?
If you want to take a shot at that, Clena, you can. I mean, you could probably do it in like a fraction of the time that I can. I mean, but although it's good practice for me.
Is Jason doing it right now?
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Thanks, guys. But you can see here's the. I mean, so this is the 20 to 25. Again, annual growth is of the town's allocation is 2.86%.
Yeah.
And the schools are averaging, so there's basically a delta of 1.73%
Yeah.
of the budget, which they've had to make up with other funds.
Yeah. I like the top part of what you have on the slide though, where it shows like why the expenses are going up, with the special education going up, more than the other sections.
Yeah, well, we don't have to. We can think about that. I'm open to your thoughts on that. We don't have to. Maybe think about that. Just let me know as we approach, because maybe we'll have I'll certainly send around versions before Monday comes. All right, let me get back to the message.
Go through the rest and then come back to that maybe.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, I think this is great.
So one thing on here is that we have not shown the structural deficit. Like we're saying it's 1,300,000, but we have not shown that somehow in all of the prior slides with the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's in the school's budget presentation from this year. Do we want to throw that out there?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I think we can speak to it because I think the schools put it out there and just say, look, based on the budget presentation that the schools made back in March, there was $1 million deficit that they couldn't, that they had to go to extraordinary funds to cover. The town's budget is, $300,000. We're basically looking at the free cash component that we've traditionally year over year, or the free cash policy, which I think you cited in here, or added to the citations, which is good. So if somebody wants to challenge that, we can direct them to those resources. I mean, again, I don't think we can really put everything in here. I think, again, just getting the information out is important.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm just trying to like poke holes.
That's good. No.
Like it asked.
Yeah, there'll be. I'm sure the holes we try to poke will be nominal compared to those that will be showing up Monday night.
Yeah.
And I'm not a public. I haven't been out on the public website or Facebook and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty dismal, Jason, and fans. I mean, I don't know. I've heard.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people with a lot of opinions.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. It's not a great time to be saying, hey, let's increase taxes. It's just not. I don't think anybody wants to hear that. Not that you ever want to hear it, but I just think this timing on this is less than ideal. But one-time funds ARPA. Now I know I talked about it, and I unfortunately have not had a chance to go in and identify all the ARPA stuff. I do have a spreadsheet on that. But I'm not sure how much we want to get into more and more numbers. I mean, I know we can get into the warrant articles that included operating expenses or, over the years. I mean, I'm thinking like OPEB. Certainly in the last 5 years, every year we've had at least one OPEB item. Now, are those big numbers? 50,000, 100,000 maybe. So it's not backbreaking, but it's another number that is not showing up in our town's budget that we are funding from free cash. That is technically an operating cost. So I'm not sure whether we just want to punctuate those out there and just say, by the way, these are also sources that we rely on year over year. And maybe we should just go in and grab a couple of examples. Again, I don't know that showing the numbers are necessarily meaningful because, depending upon what the use was.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think this slide certainly says it all. And this talks about our free cash.
Oh, why did that got really big? Is it, I don't know if it might be.
it might be the shared drive too. I notice when I go out and do stuff on the shared drive, it changes. Sometimes messes with the fonts. I sometimes I just bring it back and do it on my computer, and then it can be different. But I'll check. We can check that. Check 23. Oh, it looks like, yeah, we definitely have to shrink it down a little bit.
Yeah, it did on PowerPoint, but the Google, when you're looking at it on Google, it looks a little different.
Yeah, they don't tend to play nice. I've had some issues too between switching back and forth between the two. So they say on paper they do, but well.
Yeah. All right. It's a little smaller, but at least it works. Going forward options. I don't know that we need to say, I mean, because in 2025, I'm not sure that we're doing any reductions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna highlight this piece here. Slide 24.
We should probably add some, well, I don't know. Like what does that mean in this year then? Nothing? Just means we're using free cash.
It means we would not be relying on free cash, and it means that the schools would not have to endure the bulk of their dipping into next year's funds from circuit breaker. That's it. I just want to make sure these numbers are all in agreement, because the problem the numbers have been kind of a little squishy as far as looking forward.
The first bullet under the override, it originally said 3 years. I know that I think the messaging is 5 years.
I think I changed it. Yeah, I think I changed that to 5. I just or maybe you changed it. I don't know, but it was. I think with what we've seen from the schools and from what we heard from Jen and Leslie the other night, I think they were looking at 5.
Yeah.
We'll definitely ask her about this one. This is like, I think it's a great slide, but I think it's also, oh man, I can hear it now.
Maybe it's not quite 2026. Maybe it's like 2026 or 2027.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and
I
beyond.
think, yeah. And I think this was a fairly original slide, so it might have changed a bit since Ray first put this in.
Yeah, this was an old one. I'm gonna put this on the I don't even know if I want to get into that, but
well, I think we have to have something.
Yeah.
We could soften it, right? Like risks instead of no trash, no.
Yeah.
These are the things we're gonna have to scrutinize.
Services, yeah. Reduction of services or something like that. I'm gonna just cut back the library. I mean, you really can't cut back the library, but that's another story.
One thing that we might want to add here is that it's level service, right?
Yeah,
Like,
what we will
you're not
get.
even anything extra for this extra property tax. You're just paying for what you got,
Yeah.
which is kind of a bummer. That's where we are.
Nothing else.
A lot of people on Facebook saying we just need to trim the fat. Like it's skinny. There's nothing there. We're skin and
Trim,
bone.
trim the what?
The fat.
Oh,
Trim
jeez.
the fat from the
That's what they're
budget.
saying on Facebook. Trim the fat. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, amongst many, many other things.
Oh yeah. It should probably go up. So what is it like a community page or something like that? Is that what it's saying? I'm
Yeah, it's
almost
like a
afraid to
sounding board
join.
for bad opinions.
Oh,
You're
geez.
not on the anything goes one, are you?
I'm not. Is that?
No, I didn't even know. I don't even think they're.
Oh, it might be dead now. Yeah, years ago there was this like some people got kicked off of the regular one for being insane, and so they created an anything goes where you can be insanely mean and post all the cat memes you want and the like Trump memes or whatever, like whatever you want. And
Oh my God.
might be. I think that one is. I never have been part of that one because it was a little out of control.
It's amazing to me how, I don't know, how caustic people are over this stuff. I mean, I appreciate the fact that it's not popular, and I hate the fact that costs are going up, but I mean, just I like to think we could deal reasonably about it, but maybe I'm living in the dark ages, or maybe that's the way it was in the dark ages, right? All right. So Prop 2.5 override level services. I'm going to clean that up, and then I don't know what we want to do on this because this was actually last year's slide.
Ah.
So
Maybe we drop it. Like, I don't know if this is like the right tone. Like it's
I mean, I don't think people really care whether it's just West Boylston or not. I mean, but
right.
I think okay, maybe just out. I'm gonna throw out on it and just let Jen know we had it in originally, and then it's leaving. Yeah, necessary. I guess that's a good. I think that's a good way to put it because I think we're gonna have to. I mean, so I don't think that this is the last you'll hear from this if you choose not to do it this year. I mean, frankly, I'm not afraid to say that because I think we're gonna need to. Good. Anything else other than that, Jason? I know you're working on that line graph, so that's good.
Yeah, I just put that. I put a new slide in up on slide number 21.
Okay. And that's on cleanest, right?
I have no idea. No, it's on yours.
Oh, it's on mine. Oh, wow, what a surprise. Okay. Hey,
So we
thanks.
should have the school budget going up. There's a bit of a gap growing between the budget and the town appropriation past 2021.
Yeah.
And then you see the budget growth like shoot through the roof in 22. And is higher in 23 and 24, and then comes back down in 25. But I think there's an important understanding there of like growing 5% off of a prior year 8 is still growing 2 years 13%.
Right.
Which is why I kind of wanted to show both, because if you look towards 25, you're like, oh, well, percentage wise, we're back down below, but that's because you've increased your base 4 years in a row.
Right, right.
Plus they
Right.
took them out or something.
Yeah. So
these are
I think,
percentages. This part
yeah,
over here is
yeah,
percent.
the gray and yellow are percentages, the blue
Yeah.
and orange are whole dollars. So,
Yeah.
and I think it's important to talk the same language too when we talk about inflation. Like, yeah, we're back to growing our budget level with inflation, but we had 2 years there where inflation percentage wise was way higher. So
Killed us. Yeah. And mandates
it's,
for the schools and everything. Yeah.
yeah. So we're growing 5% off of prior year 8, which is not necessarily helping.
Right. Yeah, that's good. It's really good. Excellent. All right. Love it.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to leave this in or not. It doesn't matter to me one way or another, but
I think it looks fine. I think it's
it
great.
does show the gap growing between school budget and the town appropriation.
Yeah.
I mean, I can change it a little bit to make it look a little more dramatic if you want, but
No, I think that's fine. And the numbers are above it, right? We left this in for now so they can always just go back and see
Mm-hmm.
what the differences are and how they've been funding the differential. I think that's important too.
Yeah, I think it's better to have it in there than take it out. If someone asks a question or if, we get into a discussion and we want to make a point, we'll have it there to back up to.
Yep. All right, good. All right, so this is saved. We'll just leave that, and I'll get a copy over to Jen or try to sit with Jen before. I can't do it tomorrow, but probably Thursday. She's got time, and then I'll shoot around the edits to everybody. I know, and then we can't all comment jointly, but we can comment individually, and that'll be fine. And we'll just go from there. And I can, since we can't really, too late to deliberate from here, but this should be fine. And then everybody's good for Monday.
Mhm.
So since we have a posted meeting Monday, what we could probably do is, I don't know if you guys can maybe get there a little bit earlier and just, whenever you can get there. I mean, I'll probably try to show up like, 5:15.
How do you want to do the slides? Do you want to split them up or do you want to just like you're
Love to split them up. If you guys have if you have a preference as to what you'd like to do, I think it would be great if everybody could do some. And again, and I think the other side of it is you can start with the presentation on it, but I think it's important that if anybody has anything to add to it, they can just jump in and should they do that. But why don't we go through and see if there's anybody, see which ones you really like, and we'll use the last one, which was the one that it's got my initials next to it on May 8th, which is all clean as slides, but the one I put in and the one Jason just put in. And just pull the slide numbers out and just email me with what you want to, or do you want to do that now? I know you guys have a time schedule, so I don't know if you want to, or maybe, because Ray's not here, Mary's not here. I don't know. Do we want to just shoot it out to them and just see what their preference is too? I mean, I'm fine with that. I think we can go ahead. Opinions, Jason, Kalina, Greg? Do you know what, do you have a preference now?
Oh, what we could split by those topics with those icons. I don't know if that makes sense to people. It might help people follow along if you find those topics.
So this
helpful.
schedule here, yeah, that's fine. That's a great idea.
The the graphs is a meaty section, but
Yeah, and maybe that'll take a couple of people to go through that. I mean, that might, because I know Ray's indebted in a lot of the numbers. That could be but we can certainly, I guess, why don't you, I mean, who likes tax background? Anybody? Not so much. I'm gonna put some notes down here so I can do. What's that?
I'm equally new on all of these.
Yep. So don't be bashful. We're all kind of, and we'll all jump in. Operating budget, revenue and expenses.
Were we still gonna look at having Rich jump in on his parts, Chris, or?
I'm not gonna look to Rich to, I mean, I'll ask him if he wants to, but I think he's gonna be there more as a resource, Greg, than a presenter.
Okay.
If he wants to, I mean, elaborate on some stuff or some questions, he's certainly welcome to, and I'll extend that invitation.
Okay.
But I don't know that we want to. I don't know if he wants to. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he may, if he wants to, he certainly can.
He and his staff wrote that part of the budget, so that's, he would probably know the most about it. Just thinking about it logically for a minute, but that's all right. I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to ask for any volunteers. I'm just going to put question marks and I'll let you guys fill it in. You know the slide. And just add it to the notes at the bottom, what part you want. That's it. I'll ask Rich about that. And I know I'm missing something. I'm not trying to rush everybody, but I think it's been over an hour and I want to be a little respectful of time. And Pete's certainly not here either. So, I mean, that's the other challenge because he said he had a dinner. So it would have been nice to have him, but. And then options moving forward. And if you want more than one, you can certainly choose more than one. So what I'll do is, oops. So let's see what we got. That's the wrong email. Oops. Where's my other email? There we go. All right. Got everybody? Yes, right? Good. Ray's other one. I don't know. I know he's between. I'll have to deal with that. Okay, presentation. What was the name of it? Oh, I can't remember. Um, oh, that's it. Oh, I can't copy that, can I?
You can probably just grab the link directly, I think.
And it's slide number 5, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, all right. Now I gotta find my way back.
Oh, I got a tip for you.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Alt tab. Do you know about the alt tab too?
No, I can't say that I do. What do I do? Alt tab does what?
So if you hold down alt and then click the tab, it tabs through your screens, including the different.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. All right. What slide was it that had the slide 6?
It was 5, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. All right. Suggested edits. How's that? Oh, God. I don't know how you guys can work every day. I'll tell you. I have to drive out for a meeting at 7 a.m. tomorrow in Springfield.
Ugh.
Oh, man. And I'm like dreading it. I think I'd rather be working in the yard. How's that? But
Probably
anyway,
not tomorrow. You wouldn't be.
what's
Mm.
that?
You're
Not
probably not
tomorrow?
going to want to be working in the yard tomorrow.
No, huh? It's supposed to. Is it raining all day? Is that what they're saying?
Last I knew, yeah.
Gross.
It's like
Not long.
tomorrow for days.
For days?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the weekend.
that's great. That's good. So I got a nice big pile of mulch that can get nice and wet in the yard. That's good.
It'll
Perfect.
make it easier to move.
Will it? It's- all right, good. All right. I'm gonna include my main email on here too, just because. That's right. AccuBoost. No, I don't know what Ray's other email is. Hopefully he'll get this. All right. Anything else for tonight? This has been great. You guys are great. Thanks for all your work. Cleena, Jason, Greg.
I just added to the notes on that slide, Chris, and I will help lead the operating budget revenue and expenses portion. That's pretty data and graph heavy, so
Yeah, okay, great.
I don't mind jumping in on that, but I think if I try to lead all like 10 slides, I'll probably fall asleep after.
It's all right. Well, I think we're all going to be jumping in on a lot of this stuff. So, again, don't be we won't be bashful about that. Trust me. But good. All right. So I guess the last order of business is, unless there's anything else to come before us. Anybody have anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, thank you, Jason.
Again.
Greg, you second?
Yes, sir.
All right. Clena, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, great. And Jason, how do you vote?
Aye.
Greg, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chris Berglund, aye. Great. So we finished with a quorum, just barely, but we did, right? That's good. Thanks again, you guys, for everything.